Main? Are you north of Main Street or south?
Did you get yours locally or? Inglewood. Okay.
Viva Posada! Viva Posada!
No.
Right. Thank you. Bigger than you, man.
Sand.
Bigger than both of you together. I did look at it.
Jose, all right, man. Take a second. Yeah. Ready to go, man.
I'd like to say a few words about this. This is a sign that says George Bush should be condemned for international terrorism. In Latin America, we have suffered all the consequences of U.S. imperialism. In Nicaragua, in 1979, the Sandinistas were fighting to get rid of those terrorists who were invading the country. They were devastating their people. The poor were dying. They didn't have any food. They took all their land and to give it to the rich people that live in the country. But the Reagan administration paid and supported the Contras, and he paid these terrorists who nowadays live in Miami. He supported the Contras all the way until the Contras killed thousands and thousands of people in Nicaragua. And people pleaded with the United States to stop sending military aid to Nicaragua. They didn't listen to them. They continued the war, killing the innocent people of Nicaragua. People who didn't have to pay for anything. They paid the consequences. This guy, Luis Posada Carriles, he was one of the military leaders of the Contra who devastated the country. And he was on the CIA payroll. So the United States knows very well that Luis Posada Carriles is a terrorist. However, they have him in Miami walking freely on the streets.
Wow.
That cannot be accepted, because a country that claims that a country that harbors terrorists is a terrorist state. So if that is the case, then I'm sorry to tell you, but the United States is a terrorist state because it's harboring terrorists in Miami.
You love Cuba? The other side of the traffic light.
Why don't you go there? Exactly.
Very good, Jose. Very good. He's actually from Costa Rica.
Speaking of foreign.
Look at the sign up here. It says no more blood for oil. The Bush administration has been telling the people of the United States that they're fighting in Iraq to free the people of Iraq. I don't think that's true, because I don't believe that's true, because we already know that there were no weapons of mass destruction, which was the first thing why they went to Iraq. Second, if you go to Iraq today, I haven't been there myself, but if you see like real pictures of Iraq and the situation in Iraq, that country is devastated. It's completely chaos. And the government of the United States what they want, really what they want in Iraq and the Middle East in general is to save their interests in that area of the world. All they want is the oil resources, and that's why they're there. That's the only reason that they are still remain there. I don't think they care for the people who are dying in Iraq.
Thanks, man. Thanks for doing that.
Want to stand here for a couple of minutes and then we continue that way, okay?
I don't think the war is, immoral. It just costs money, that's all. What do you think? I mean, it just takes a bunch of money to fight, Al-Qaeda, people that want to kill you for the freedom that you have.
What about the, you want to talk?
What, freedom, yeah.
Do you want to talk?
No, not really.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Jose, keep shooting because, the irony is that here we are Americans, and that's a guy from Costa Rica who has to do our protesting for us because apparently there's not an American here in Sarasota that has the courage to do that. So we're actually outsourcing our protesters. So
No,
Jose,
I guess that's not the issue.
Jose, what made you decide to do this, and how long ago did you start doing this?
Well, in Costa Rica, I studied literature and history, so I became interested in the history of Latin America, and I realized how much the United States has intervened in Latin America, not for good reasons. For example, I'm going to give you just one example out of many. In 1973, Salvador Allende was a great man, a president elected by the people of Chile. He was elected in 1970. He wanted to lift the dignity of the people in Chile. He gave a house, a decent house, and a decent salary to those who never had a decent salary or a house. And he tried to do a land reform. He did great things for the people of Chile. But what happened? The few wealthy people of Chile, supported by the military called this guy Augusto Pinochet, they supported economically and politically by the United States, by the CIA. They performed a coup d'etat. They went and this guy, he was in his palace. Salvador Allende was in his palace. And Augusto Pinochet, with his militaries, he came in the palace and took over. But the CIA directly helped and supported this coup d'etat.
Henry Kissinger. Did
And,
he play a part? Henry
yeah,
Kissinger.
Henry Kissinger took a big part. Actually, Henry Kissinger said, we cannot let this virus spread throughout Latin America.
Wow. And what was that
So
virus?
we have to get rid of this virus in Chile so that it doesn't spread all around Latin
You mean
America.
a real democracy?
Yeah,
Couldn't let
the
a
real democracy
spread.
They call it communism. But
Yeah.
it's a real democracy.
Right.
Salvador Allende was not a communist.
Yeah.
If people read history, he was not a communist. He was a person who wanted to help the poor.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? No, but it was not in the interest. It was not in the interest of the United States. So they had to get rid of Salvador Allende and put instead a murderous terrorist. Augusto Pinochet was a murderous terrorist. He didn't do anything good for the people of Chile. However, he is considered a hero, not only for many militaries in Chile who participated in these atrocities, but also, and I'm sorry to say it again, by the United States.
Yeah.
They don't consider here the government of the United States. I'm not saying the people of the United States. I'm saying the government of the United States. They don't consider Augusto Pinochet a murderer or a terrorist.
What about Nicaragua? The guy is back in power now. Has he changed to the guy that just reelected? Remember he was out of, what's his name?
Saavedra, his name is,
Just got reelected.
yeah, Saavedra was president when the Sandinista revolution took over in Nicaragua. He became president. Saavedra is president again in Nicaragua. So it's interesting because today Latin America is taking a different direction. For example, in Ecuador, we have now Rafael Correa. Rafael Correa is a person who are in favor of the poor. He is lifting the dignity of the poor in Ecuador. Actually, it's interesting because George Bush asked Rafael Correa one day, would you let me have a military base in Ecuador? And Salvador Correa answered, yes, I'll let you do that. Would you let me have a military base in Miami? then we are tied.
Yeah. And there's a large company that's American in Ecuador that's ruining the environment, but they're mining something.
The what company?
I don't know what's the name.
In what country?
In Ecuador. They're
Yeah.
running the water supply for
Yeah,
the people.
but
Yeah, for the entire country. I heard
Correa-
about that. They're dumping mercury and gasoline.
Rafael Correa is getting rid of all the transnational corporations of Ecuador. He's getting rid. He already kicked the most of the transnational corporations in Ecuador. Also in Guatemala, the new president of Guatemala is fighting for the poor. The new president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. I'm not saying that everything Hugo Chavez does is right, but most of the things he's done, they're fine because he's giving the women who work at home a salary, a full-time salary for those women who work at home. In the past, those women didn't get anything and they were actually mistreated by their husbands. Today, they have dignity.
What about Colombia?
Well, Colombia is still a very conflictive
We're feeding them a lot
country.
of money.
Well, in Colombia, we have the FARC. The FARC is a guerrilla, it's a type of guerrilla group. I'm not saying that the FARC is good. No, they also became, I guess, corrupted through the time.
Yeah.
At the beginning, their intentions were good, to help the poor. That was the intention of the FARC. But unfortunately, because of the pressure of the government has the paramilitary and the state military, which are terrorists. If you read the news, you find out that the FARC nowadays, since they are so much, there's a big tension between the FARC and the military from the state. It's hard for the FARC to really follow what they really believe in. They ended up corrupting themselves. But the idea remained of helping the poor.
Hey, Ron, how are you,
How you
bud?
doing? Hey there, Bob. So how do you feel about the fact that we can mistreat the people in Chile? In Chile, the American people were completely misled.
Yeah, well, the Bush administration went, and you already know this, with the pretext of getting rid of the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Weapons of mass destructions, they didn't find anything.
Yeah.
And if there were weapons of mass destruction, I'm sure that they get rid of them so that they could find somehow to a pretext
Yeah.
to go there.
And didn't Evil Cheney say we would be welcomed with flowers? And
The what?
Evil Cheney. I
Cheney,
call him
yeah.
Evil. He said we were going to be greeted as heroes. And with
I don't
flowers.
think the people of Nicaragua are happy with the U.S. military there. I don't think they're happy. If you read the statistics, like an 85% or 90% are against the military remaining in Iraq.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are sad and outrageous
Yeah.
about this situation in Iraq. And I don't understand how come people in the United States, I know that you support, I know that you're against this war, but we need to take action. We need to go out and get together and protest against this war.
Right.
I mean, come on, this is...
Well, like the French, they're not afraid of their government, but in America, we're afraid of our government. The French, they'll come in and bring all their trucks
Yeah,
and
but
block traffic up.
but one thing I don't understand in the United States is that this is so much. You have so much freedom here. There's so many opportunities here.
But we take it for granted.
How can we be afraid in a country that has so much freedom of expression?
Right.
We should take advantage of that. Actually,
I agree. To keep it, because
Exactly.
like they say, freedom is not free.
yeah.
What is this? What are you raining?
I'm from Costa Rica.
Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, Central America. Yes, sir.
Gonna attack Iran, gonna eliminate it. Drop atomic bomb. That's all you have to do.
The sign I have on my bag says, "Stop an imminent U.S. terrorist attack on Iran." Why do I say that? Well, Bush, in many of his speeches, he has stated that they are not going to stand any